Welcome to the overview of the OEEcollege.com collection of training modules. This introduction is to help you understand the power of OEE for 3 levels of learning that make up what I call financial OEE. I'm Robert C. Hanson, your presenter. The ultimate goal is to help you understand how these training modules can be used to train your total organization from top to bottom. The power of training and coaching these key methodologies to leadership teams and organizations generates a vision that brings everyone onto the same page. I like the quote, "In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king." The picture on this page reflects the meaning of that quote in that the organization, amongst all organizations, that is first to clarify the specific target to improve first, and then second, then third, etc., has the right tool to develop competitive vision and navigate towards manufacturing excellence in a profitable way. Being able to identify direction and distance is step 1. Step 2 is speed to proficiency in achieving synergy throughout the total organization. Success only comes with clearly defined strategy and focused resources well understood by everyone in the organization. Even if OEE is currently being measured at your site, these new tools and techniques will improve your productivity and ultimately your profits. If you haven't started OEE, this training will leapfrog your organization towards manufacturing excellence. Picture this in your mind. What if you had a tool and didn't know how to use it? In my experience, over 75% of manufacturing organizations either misuse OEE or haven't even picked it up. For those of you not really familiar with what overall equipment effectiveness is, it's a quantitative way of measuring how well a standalone or a flow-line production system operates in making good product relative to what the system could make if it operated perfectly 100% of the scheduled time based on specific products and processes. OEE is a key benchmarking metric used to define the throughput gap between current state and world class for your system. This overview presentation is to familiarize you with the OEEcollege.com set of 14 training modules that cover 7 key areas of study that span from OEE basics to financial OEE. Financial OEE is a new tool for plant leadership teams to expose exactly where to apply resources for the highest return on investment relative to a stipulated product mix. We look at flow-line workstations as a series of production engines and expose exactly where to focus to tune up your flow line. The base case validates the spreadsheet setup using actual results of current state. Once that's done, you could examine the impact of different forecasted product mixes. You need to be aware that correctly identifying improvement targets often leverages hidden factory financial benefit opportunities of greater than 10 to 1 over the next alternative. We provide realistic practice factory results, and we look at it from a what-if situation. So, what if a work center improved OEE by 3 points? That's approximately a 5% increase in OEE, and we sold everything. We'll find out that work center A could increase the income from operations by $625,000 relative to the next best alternative, work center B, which would improve income from operations by $48,000. It's extremely important to understand that standard cost accounting practices would not expose this kind of potential opportunity. Those of you that have worked with OEE in some fashion know that providing everyone in your organization with a range of OEE improvement tools has good value. However, Identifying exactly where and when to focus your key people and how to avoid activity traps, well, that's priceless. That's like getting the key to the treasure chest. In my experience, organizations that train and strategically use the OEE tools and methods that I present in the modules have a clear roadmap to quickly achieve top quartile competitive advantage in their lines of business. By top quartile, I mean that winning teams that have common best practices. First of all, they usually have detailed measurement of their performance. They're data-driven. We do not do guessing. We constantly improve the best ever performance, and we capture those things in one best way. We synergize every player's contribution. Everyone's on the same page. And we effectively have communication of new ideas or conditions regardless of the person's position in the organization, because they know and understand before being understood. And last but not least, being the provider of choice. By that I mean they are the lowest price provider, and they have high OEE, which equals high reliability, so they deliver as ordered. The initial foundation for these modules comes from my book, Overall Equipment Effectiveness, a powerful production maintenance tool for increased profits. I recommend that this book be used as your training manual for Level 1 education. We will be referencing sections of this book several times during our delivery of the modules. I also know that training is awfully difficult in listening to a lot of information all at one time. So as we go through our modules, we will have a game to play that will help spark your interest several times throughout the presentations. We'll explain the game a little bit more later on. Keith Mobley, a respected contributor to Uptime magazine, had these things to say. Too many corporations are run based on the instincts of their executives rather than on the data that define a true picture of the market and operating performance of the plant. One absolute I have learned is that sustainable change must be led from the top of the organization. Simply stated, change must be led from the top and implemented from the bottom. The first hurdle that must be overcome is simply convincing the workforce that there is a need for change. Profit hides inefficiency and ineffectiveness. And last but not least, most importantly, no one in a profitable company, even when profits are marginal, ever asks, how much profit are we leaving on the table? The OEE College Overview Outline will address the following. Why use OEE? Module 1 begins with a compelling story to show the power of OEE. Literature research indicates that $1 invested into productivity improvement avoids $10 of investment into capacity expense. Think about that. Benefits occur sooner. Everything you need currently exists at your fingertips. No new metal or factory space is necessary. No new equipment is purchased, and no more people are needed. The current organization becomes better. No new people require training to build current skills. Next, let me define the 3 levels of OEE learning. Level 1 is the focus of OEE at the individual workstation. Level 2 is the collective assessment of OEE focused on a product flow line, applying the theory of constraints and linking financial information by product. Level 3 is developing the methodology to combine the information for shared resources and different product mix volumes and generating results tables for the improved business decisions. In total, the modules will give you the complete financial OEE course information that you can learn at your own pace and refer back to regularly. future new employees can be brought up to speed almost immediately. We will look at using OEE in a strategic manner and in a proactive mode. We will look at OEE in the what's in it for me, the WIIFM perspective, at the corporate point of view, the plant point of view, a line of business point of view, and the shop floor point of view. OEE is about adding value. In fact, OEE should only be counted for value-adding actions. Done well, all OEE parameters would increase, including higher quality rates. OEE is the visual metric of total productive manufacturing. TPM is integral to successful manufacturing. In fact, it's integral to lean manufacturing. OEE applies to batch, discrete, and continuous manufacturing for both dedicated and non-dedicated products. Used adroitly, strategic OEE means millions of dollars of profits for most manufacturing systems relative to current state. Financial OEE applies metrics from the total organization and becomes a navigational tool for successful leadership teams. OEE is about quality, reliability, and manufacturing best practices. World-class OEE allows organizations to be the least price provider of their products. Financial OEE modules will enable you to master the tools and the methodologies and combine information for better business case decisions. The training goes through the basic application of the formula, and several exercises are provided. The interdependent OEE of multi-step processes is examined, and the application of theory of constraints is used. Examples will show how shared resources are integrated for multiple lines of business. With our information, we will learn to see the power of OEE. This picture in the lower right of your screen is probably the best representation of what this college is all about. All of the filled blocks are obviously things we can see in the physics of the process. One can count the amount of product, and reports tell us just how much profit was made. What is most important is seeing the empty blocks for the hidden factory. Quantifying the results that could be, and thirdly, the transparent colored boxes represent the various what-if alternatives to leverage that hidden factory. Think of how valuable it would be to know the probable financial impact of alternative courses of action before committing resources and interrupting daily activities. Clarifying just where to work first so that the profits are optimized is like having a crystal ball and making leadership decisions better. You will learn how to apply OEE as a leading metric and a goal-setting metric based on top quartile standards of work. The 14 modules will cover the 7 areas of study, and each module is approximately 40 minutes long. Each and every module brings game-changing tools for application. In total, the best business strategy is revealed. Again, we see our existing factory versus the hidden factory and find out what the most profitable course of action would be. When we improve OEE in the right target areas, our profits grow significantly. Most importantly, this is with all the needed resources already existing at your fingertips. All right, let's have some refocus time. We'll play a catchphrase game and keep score. You'll need to get a paper and pencil for this because you want to track your score. We'll write down numbers 1 to 5, and with each clue number, you'll write your answer. After the answer is given, circle the number of the clue opposite the first time you correctly named the catchphrase, and at the end of the module, the person with the least accumulative score is the winner. Alright, let's get ready to play our first game of the catchphrase game. Write down numbers 1 to 5 for the clues that you'll be given, and if you get it correct, we'll go with the first time that you got it correct. The category this time is places. The number of words will be 2 in the phrase. Are you ready? First clue is, first word, class of alcoholic drink. Second clue begins with the letter following B in the alphabet. Third clue, last 4 letters are what a dog wags. Fourth clue, second word, taking it easy. Fifth clue, another name for a hotel bar. Did you get it? The answer is cocktail lounge. If you didn't get the answer, score yourself a 7. Alright, let's get back to our training. I will introduce the 7 areas of study and also provide a little more detail for each one. First is the basics of OEE metrics, which is covered in 2 modules. The first module tells a story about submarines and how to leverage the hidden submarines in the fleet. This is to give everyone a compelling sense of how powerful OEE can be. The module goes beyond the original story to show how OEE can be used in a proactive, leading manner. A few questions are asked to confirm the understanding of the lesson. The module provides definitions in OEE basic mathematics and practice examples to confirm the OEE equations as applied to performance data at a workstation. A simplified diagram displays the difference between availability and OEE and the difference between utilization and total effective equipment performance, or TEEP. For those of you that aren't using OEE, OEE combines the manufacturing aspects of availability, which is the actual uptime versus schedule time, and a speed factor, which is the actual rate versus the ideal rate, and a quality factor, which is the number of good units produced versus the total potential units that could be produced if everything worked at 100% quality. OEE is the product of these 3 things, so it's availability times speed rate times quality rate, and total effective equipment performance, or TEEP, is the product of utilization times speed rate times quality rate. The key is that OEE and TEEP directly correlate to the amount of good product produced and transferred. In other words, first pass quality product versus the total possible good product that could be made. The second area of study is the maintenance production OEE tools commonly used for improvement, and that's covered in 3 modules. Let's look at how OEE tools support lean manufacturing. This slide shows a chart of the TPM losses in investigation categories across the top and the Toyota Production System manufacturing techniques down the left-hand side. The Toyota Production System is recognized as being the benchmark for world-class manufacturing. What is most interesting is the fact that TPM supports every category of the Toyota Production System, and usually in multiple ways. There's a long litany of OEE tools that get behind this kind of representation, and Module 1 of the OEE tools covers these tools relative to lean manufacturing, quick changeovers, OEE and TEEP strategies, theory of constraints, critical equipment lists, and focuses on the relevance of what tool when in specifying targets and looking at a benefits table. Module 2 of the area of study introduces a new metric that I call shutdown work ratio for key resources. We can talk about critical chain thinking and cover the 5S thoughtware exercise. This module also expands the 5S techniques as a communication tool for the changeovers and shutdown progress status. The third module for OEE tools covers the topics such as proactive maintenance, which covers maintenance, statistical process control, and tattletale tool techniques. And these things include things like tracking and trending control valve positions on process supply systems, build-in and trend wear measurement indicators, and things like that. They establish good practice calibration standards and schedules, and we look at go, no-go position indicators, wear indicators, etc. Color change indicators, fingerprint additives and over-travel indicators, high-speed video camera usage, and many other useful tools for increased availability and reliability. The third area of study is financial OEE. Module 1 of this area of study covers the methodology for throughput accounting, linking OEE to IFO, or income from operations or profits. The financial OEE definition and equation, along with exercise examples, is provided. And this module helps one to see OEE as a business metric by linking actions to profit dollars and helping quantify potential improvement alternatives. Module 2 of the financial OEE covers the discussion on speed to proficiency, developing a competitive advantage, and the consequences of maintaining. We discuss OEE as a business metric and talk about breakaway strategies. This module dramatically represents what I call the Walmart effect on suppliers, showing the power of improving so that product price can be lowered and suppliers make higher profits. Let me stress that again. So that prices can be lowered on products, refill the factory, so that suppliers make higher profits. We will put together a results table of investigated alternatives. To help define our critical equipment targets, we will Pareto all of those results into a benefits package analysis to provide and identify the most profitable alternative. Obviously, arranged properly, the most critical equipment target would have the highest OEE benefit. Within financial OEE, we look at generic financial statements of existing current state for our practice factory. By clarifying the best improvement target alternative based on current state, the leadership team can confidently proceed in a profitable direction, and that follows the green arrow. Organizations that do not use that strategy and do not link financial results with the shop floor actions in the proper order will follow the red arrow and wander into troubled waters. Two other important lessons can be learned through financial OEE. One is about driving to world class to lower prices and make more profits. The other is the importance of being first, so that your opportunity to cash in on your competitive advantage can be realized. I call this speed to proficiency, which is critical for successful companies to gain and retain top quartile status. All right, let's have a refocus number 2. So the category this time is science and technology. The number of words is 2. Get back to your list of 1 through 5. First clue. First word, water in the morning. Second clue. Second word, a specific spot. Third clue. First word, second word of a popular soft drink. Fourth clue. Second word, a knife has a sharp blank. Fifth clue. Condensation forms on a glass at this temperature. Answer is dew point. If you didn't get the answer, score yourself a 7. Alright, now let's refocus back on the overview. The fourth area of study is OEE data collection and analysis. Module 1 of this area covers the data collection and data sources, investigative charts incorporating multiple information, data analysis techniques, and flesh for the fishbone diagram. This module will help us quantify variability, provide examples of combining information for diagnostics, reading the heart of the timeline charts, and fingerprinting frequencies of events. We will discuss the seen and the unseen, real-time performance monitoring, or RPM, and databases, which expose the variability and help determine the capability. We'll develop OEE performance curves, setting SMART goals for improvement, data analysis for target selection, consensus building using cross-functional teams, combining subjective and objective data into decision tables. And the second module of data analysis covers surfacing the right stuff. Data analysis techniques target identification. The agenda is to determine the biggest bang for the buck without guessing and quantifying the vision of improving the hidden factoring. Many organizations collect vast amounts of data, yet rarely generate useful information. It is not about the quantity of information, but rather the quality of the information. We will look at many different tools to slice and dice raw data, to combine data information and chart key parameters so that useful reports and charts can guide the leadership team. OEE data should be specific to the product, the process, the production team, and the equipment system. It should be collected by product run. Top quartile companies use real-time performance monitoring to automatically collect OEE data performance and losses. Examination of the past 6 to 12 months of the production for a given product will help benchmark the variability and capability of a workstation. This is the key information in validating current state and visualizing the gap to world class. Best ever shift performance can be identified as well as shift-to-shift variability, and that we examine. Often it is key to track and follow good performance just as well as all downtime event categories and poor performance events. Good data system analysis helps establish forward-looking SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, agreeable, relevant, and time-bound. Every shift should have a shift plan using SMART goals based on specific product, processes, changeovers, and activities planned for that shift. By using all of the tools for data analysis as input into the OEE systems performance analysis and linking the physical to the financial OEE, we can determine the best improvement opportunity to target for OEE improvement. Identification of specifically where to target first and identifying the trigger points to focus on the next priority target is like a compass in the hands of the leadership team. This optimizes the use of key resources and avoids activity traps that usually drag down organizations without financial OEE vision. If OEE data analysis is done well, it means millions of dollars of profits to the bottom line. Learning to see OEE is an outcome a person will get by going through all of the 14 modules. Many of the tools, activities, data collection, and improvement actions may have been tried at your plant, but with little success. As you see the girl with the magnifying glass, if we investigate things very closely, a whole new world of OEE opens up. A clear picture of the hidden factory can be exposed from two perspectives. The first is the physics of improved increased throughput, and the second is a chart similar to the first but quantified in terms of profit dollars. I can't stress enough what this vision can mean. Once you understand that an improved OEE system throughput will leverage even more dollars to the bottom line, your OEE revolution would be underway. This is a mistake that most organizations make by not asking that question. How much money are we leaving on the table by not reaching manufacturing excellence? Every day that goes by is a day that's lost forever. The modules will help you understand OEE as a strategic tool as well as a monitoring tool. It is a reliability metric and also a business metric. It's a leading metric as well as a lagging metric. You will learn how to use OEE as a fair benchmarking metric. New tools and techniques will assist in quantifying the actual value of each OEE factor at each workstation. The fifth area of study is OEE for leadership. The first module in this area of study covers active learning relative to successful leadership. Proposes the success riddle. It discusses avoiding false success parameters and talks of linking OEE strategies from top to bottom. It discusses speed to proficiency, which is the key to survival. The agenda for this module is to emphasize no guessing, to make sure we're data-driven and objective, identifying success parameters, understanding the 4 W's, the where, the when, the what, the why, launching your initiative and supporting your initiative. A review of the culture paradigm is presented by comparing attributes of top quartile workplaces relative to bottom quartile workplaces. The second module for leadership area of study begins the introduction of OEE value stream tools, identifying the targets, and proactive OEE. The agenda for this module is to understand and engage what-if investigations to provide pictures for the crystal ball. We also talk about launching the improvement initiative as well as key methods of supporting the improvement initiatives. This module also begins the education of diagramming product flow line and applying the theory of constraints computations. The OEE leadership team training may be the most vital section of the learning that an organization can have. Without that clear vision and SMART goals, the various elements of the organizations are often caught up in mixed messages. Individuals at all levels of the organization can be seen standing and wondering where to start and what to do next. Successful organizations have everybody on the same page with clear direction of where action should be taken, when the next target should be addressed, what tools should be used for each given situation, and most importantly, the why, which is the impact on contribution to profits relative to the actions taken. This gets everybody on the same page. Leadership teams that agree on key targets to exploit, improvement projects on, and understand what to subordinate can communicate a message that brings everyone onto the same page. I believe it's imperative to know where to focus first, and secondly, to know where the next constraint is dominant. Once the target is selected, your key resources need to have all of the OEE improvement tools in their toolbox to assess, analyze, and implement prioritized improvement. The entire organization needs to synergize around the why, which would be getting the biggest contribution to profits for the resources applied. Another visual tool explained in the modules is the profit parallelogram. With financial OEE understandings, leadership teams can choose to achieve the right stuff first so that the shop floor actions result in a profit curve on the green top perimeter of the parallelogram. Without focus, most organizations do the easy things first and follow the red bottom perimeter of the profit parallelogram. Again, having the where, when, what, and why answers in this order clarifies the best use of the resources, or even building the business case for reassignments. Using the tools and methodologies in concert will help your organization to stay on the green arrow and avoid activity traps, delays, unneeded expenditures of capital for more capacity. In my experience, successful initiatives must be supported and communicated from top to bottom and back again. For speed to proficiency to occur, it's key to have everyone to understand how they contribute to a single game plan. It's also extremely important for leadership teams to have consistency when managing by walking around the shop floor so that mixed messages are avoided and correct questions can be asked, regardless and depending upon which workstation. An example would be everyone understanding the highest priority workstation and possibly a second workstation equal in priority or may have the next priority of the project but would not compete with the resources used in the first. One of the most important parts of the OEE College is to introduce the new tool for leadership teams in the form of a OEE value stream mapping and analysis methodology. This approach looks at the workstations as a series of production engines interconnected into a product flow line similar to a reliability block diagram which can properly link parallel and redundant systems. This approach uses pull system thoughtware such that the final workstation shift output is used to establish item quantities required from the rest of the preceding work system. Theory of constraints is applied to identify the specific constraint workstation for the product flow line. Analysis techniques and information integration between the physical and the financial builds a decision table identifying exactly where improvement work should start and when the next constraint would be involved. Time for refocus, game number 3. Category is sports. Number of words is 2. Get ready to go. First clue, first word. You can sit on it. Second clue, second word. A reporter works for the blank. Third clue, first word. You might sit on one for a picnic. Fourth clue, second word. Grape juice is made from one. Fifth clue, the phrase usually means heavy lifting. The answer is bench press. If you didn't get the correct answer, score yourself a 7. Okay, let's get back to the overview. The sixth area of study is the new tool that I call OEE Value Stream Mapping, or OVS mapping. Module 1 of OEE Value Stream Mapping covers the beginning of data collection, establishes the inventory assumptions, and defines various operating relationships. The agenda for this module is to review existing data sources, talk about the relevancy of our information, and dialogue on the dependencies of the product flow line. We begin to walk through the input needed to construct an OVS model and begin entering that data that commonly exists at a plant site. The second module for OEE value stream mapping focuses on building the results table from the various individual product investigations and combining those results based on the product volumes produced. The second part of this module provides an explanation of how to validate the model using the existing line of business financial information. The agenda is to provide a methodology and have instructions to clarify and apply current state data for reconciliation. We walk through the construction of the OVS model for the flow line of a single product and validate those results. The same methodology then is cloned for 2 additional products into the base case results table and gives you a model that combines current state financial information with our performance input data. An example application of OEE value stream mapping is developed for a simple product flow line. It has 5 workstations, as you can see here, a redundancy pattern to show how that works for some product lines, but not all, different staffing at different stations, and of course different process speeds and different quality rates for each station and each product. It handles typical manufacturing situations and shows how to combine information on redundant equipment with different speeds and performance for a family of 3 different products. The 7th area of study is OEE value stream analysis, and is probably my favorite. This area of study is covered in one module that focuses on OEE as a strategic business tool, inputs the material cost for quality alternatives, it develops what-if alternatives, and looks at world-class investigations to help build the best benefits table. The agenda for the module covers the instructions on developing the Excel worksheets that go along with that, and a benefits table. It goes through an example case investigation and shows how to query for exactly where, when, what, and why target selection. The analysis is extremely powerful in that the overall product flow constraint is identified and quantified relative to the next constraint and next constraint, etc., providing a prioritized critical equipment list for OEE improvement. It also quantifies the amount of profit improvement expected for a specific change in OEE parameters by individual workstation. Quality improvements can be compared directly to availability and speed rate improvements in terms of dollars. The overall hidden factory can be identified in terms of product capacity and also in terms of profit capacity. Organizations interested in leapfrogging their journey to manufacturing excellence will find the OEE College Module Education to be the accelerant for productivity and quality improvement while maximizing income from operations along the way. A hypothetical factory setting is used in our practice factory example to help us build the model to investigate the power of OEE improvement. Data analysis techniques can help you set achievable OEE shift goals, which give automatic feedback to the crews, and their contribution will lead to increased profits. Establishes focused shop floor action plans linked to a strategic business plan, and that leverages the hidden factory profits. Because product mix is a major factor on plant productivity, the OEE value stream takes into account the product mix volumes relative to both quantity of product and the time required for production. The value analysis is computed using supplied Excel spreadsheets that use production and financial data already existing at most plant sites. Realistic values representing the practiced or hypothetical factory are used throughout our exercise. The value analysis is computed by introducing a slight change in an OEE parameter by individual workstation. The overall results can be formed into a decision table for the plant leadership team. Various what-if investigations expose the size of the hidden factory and exactly where to start for the biggest impact on income from operations or profits. Okay, let's get to the nuts and bolts of what financial OEE analysis is all about. Looking at this slide, which is very busy, but let's look at what some of the results might be. Note that the base case income from operations for this practice factory was $4,592,000 given our base case information. That was about a 13.4% margin in this case. The cost of goods sold was approximately $35 million. The what-if investigations results shown here was to see the impact of improving OEE by 3 points from current state by individual work center and product flow line. The first row of data is for the scenario of having the same sales volume. Because some accounting approaches do not value throughput capacity, Work Center B might be selected by the leadership team for the first improvement project. This would be a mistake, because Work Center A is the constraint for this product mix and existing operating schedule for this line of business on the plant site. And the second row of information is from what-if scenario of improving OEE by 3 points and selling all of the new capacity of 9,965 units. The impact on income from operations is $625,000. This would have 13 times more value than improving any other work center. Note that OEE in Work Center A improved 3 points from 68% to 71%. This is a 4.5% increase and exactly matches the increase in volume produced. What financial OEE exposes is that while OEE improved 4.5%, income from operations improved by 13.6%. In fact, additional investigation would show that the practice factory line of business has an OEE of about 68%, and if world-class OEE is just 85%, then current financial OEE, by definition, is only 50%. This means that reaching manufacturing excellence for this line of business would be like leveraging another complete line of business from the existing hidden factory. Just imagine how powerful this type of information could be for your plant leadership team when making decisions of where and when to use your key resources for factory improvement. Even more powerful is the new vision of just how much money is currently being left on the table every day. Let's examine these facts a little bit closer. I want to expand your vision on the power of financial OEE to expose the hidden factory. In our practice factory example scenario, the current state annual volume was 223,650 units, and the income from operations from that was recorded at $4,592,000. The financial OEE what-if analysis for world class assumed all workstations had an OEE of 85% and a quality factor of 99.8%. Our financial OEE analysis investigated the flowline workstation throughput and calculated the volume increased by 33,787 units. That would be a 15% increase in throughput. However, the impact on income from operation or profits would be an additional $4,544,000 in profits, and that's a 99% increase to corporate contribution. This means that $87,000 is left on the table every week. Think about that. 15% improvement in throughput leverages profits because factory fixed costs and labor costs, etc., are already covered with the current sales volume. It's like getting free product to sell by only paying for the materials and distribution expenses for the incremental increase in units made, and we only need to sell 15% more throughput. Remember that all of the what-if scenarios can be put into a Pareto to identify the why, which is quantified by benefit dollars. Obviously, the work center change that makes the biggest difference identifies the where to start. This is usually the overall constraint work center for the specific product mix for your specific business case. With the information from the value stream analysis, leadership teams can gain consensus for the best path forward, which becomes their compass in leveraging the hidden factory and brings everybody onto the same page. Just imagine how valuable this would be for your leadership group at your plant site. It's like having a crystal ball of information to display the amount of profit increased by work center and becomes a competitive advantage tool for making business decisions. The overall objective for obtaining and using the OEE college material is to allow you to maximize IFO through strategic analysis. Strategically focused targets, aligned and engaged from top to bottom, solves the success riddle. Being able to put the right pieces in the right order to solve the throughput puzzle will allow your organization to move towards world class and to be the least price provider of your products. To finalize the OEE overview module, let me explain a little bit more about what the OEE-college.com training modules are all about. Obviously, the overview module demonstrates the delivery format, and each area of study is contained in an individual CD, so 7 sessions could be going on at the same time. Each module on the CD is a narrated PowerPoint presentation. The modules are provided with both with and without the refresh game. Modules are approximately 40 minutes long, leaving 10 to 15 minutes for group discussion. The Practice Factory Base Case Excel Workbook example templates and 14 what-if investigations are provided on the final CD. The workbooks can be adapted to model your specific product flow lines and generate your financial OEE metrics and what-if investigations. The recommended use of the training modules would be that you designate productivity improvement leaders for the high-value lines of business flow lines on your plant site. These individuals then should become familiar with the Practice Factory example workbooks and be able to generate the new base case workbooks and benefits tables specific to their line of business flow lines. All of the plant leadership should review all of the modules to gain knowledge and understanding of the critical steps for financial OEE so everyone is on the same page, and specifically review then the results of the lines of business base case workbooks and benefits tables as they're presented. Shop floor people should review at least the first 5 areas of study and be able to practice applying all of the tools at their workstations. The intent would be to have everyone have the tools in their toolbox, and as the critical equipment areas are designated, all of the tools can be applied appropriately. I hope that this overview has given you an introduction to what tools and techniques are available through OEE-college.com 7 areas of study. I would encourage you to obtain my OEE book and to purchase a license for unrestricted use of the OEE modules for your plant site. A sample of the site license agreement can be found via a link on the home page of the OEE-college.com website. I thank you for your time and consideration of my materials. In closing, I can tell you that 90% of my clients have each increased income from operations by well over $1 million in their first year after training. I look forward to your use of my training modules on your road to manufacturing excellence. If you have further questions or would like to clarify any of today's overview, please email me at robert.hansen@oee-college.com. Thank you for your time and consideration.